I feel, I don't know, I want to do this at the same time. I don't want to do a lot of this because it's like I'm repeating a lot of myself that I talked about in the preceding minutes. There's less people involved, but I'm glad that I still have the people involved now that still wish to be a part of where the direction's going. Those that are out there. Those that are not, don't worry about it. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock this morning, your services will no longer be needed. Online ranked Beerus player, they are to be feared. They don't have a single clue what they do, and they do not care. You just bait them, honestly. You just play dummy to knock them out of the way, and then as soon as you do Beerus, just do them dirty. That way they actually start paying attention. So, going back over, I'll go back over at least the fiscal notes from Iacon through the years while I'm also going through each one that we've done so far. So as you know, okay, the shit was, so I started this back in mid 2019, late 2019. I did this over in Injustice. And then from Injustice I moved into Fighters, because Injustice was more or less on its last limbs before really becoming a dead game or becoming a highly favoritism-based video game. Not that NRS really did it any favors with its sense of elitism and what do they call it? Not nepotism, but gatekeeping. Those continual rituals between generations of NRS scenes. And then we came here to Fighters in order to set up our stuff here around early 2020, but it didn't launch until later 2020. Because it took me a few to several months later before I can actually get the money together to start into it. The people, or the attempt at the people back when there were more willing people, and trying to edit my schedule. Because in order to set it up correctly around that time, I had to stop competing for a time so that way I can actually accurately set this up. And that was around late December 2020 is when I was able to found the events over here on for Dragon Ball on console. And contrary to belief, as a lot of the FDA and HOH people want to talk about, I did set up my stuff before Neo Judah. I set it up 7 months in advance before any founding of the Fighters Duelist Academy, and I stand by that. I was doing this on PlayStation before those times. The only one that has seniority over me at that time would have been either the BUM or NLBC. Logically so. Those are like the grandfathering corporations that led the way for us to do what we're doing. Hey, Jammercron, what's going on? I'm doing a meeting right now because I don't want to do it on Dragon Ball FighterZ, since controversially speaking right now it's between being a dead game and a divided game. So I'd rather do this on a more energetic game that I'm more excited to also go and do a bit after I finish my meeting. So rather than go and do the rituals of figuring out what I want to play in Fighters, just don't even play the shit. Just come here. Just come here, do the missions, and I think there's a raid boss or something, so I might do a little bit of that. Okay. Alright, I'm lurking. Alright, fair enough, Butterbeans. If you have any things that you want to add to the minutes, you're free to also speak up also. You're in my following also. You're one of the people that benefit the most from my scenes. Anything I talk about or that I speak it on, feel free to go on ahead and pitch in as you wish to. I have it open now for people to just weigh in as they wish. Because I posted this on all my medias. I posted it on Instagram, I posted it on Reddit, Twitch, TikTok, even though I know that's not going to do shit. and Facebook, even though I also know it's not going to do shit. But we gotta try. We just gotta keep trying. So, as I previously talked about in the last minutes, I was back on mid to late February, right? I went on ahead and I was talking about the minutes of the domino effect that I started with the 3 main titles that I was hosting, and that was Injustice, Dragon Ball Fighters, and then ultimately Guilty Gear Strive. That was the 3rd of the trifecta that I had. And so I went on ahead and I began with Injustice since it started everything here. I decided in that pillar's upkeep that I'm keeping it to exhibitions till it builds a regular viewing attendance or something consistent that's worthy of the risk to create an Iacon tournament. But it hasn't shown me that it's worth the risk to go further than that, which is why it's going to stay here at that. Because it gets harder each time trying to host each one at the cost of people's obliviousness and my
I've
peace of
returned.
mind. Hey, what's going on? And I get that they just want to play. Not really to hear the issues around it or why it's so hard to keep it aloft or even keep it alive. So it just stays my private hellhole sitting with those people that value the scene versus dealing with the faggots that don't or ever will care. And that's a fine gamble. I just use my vent section more as a result of all that. Next up is the Mortal Kombat pillar. And I think for the time being, until I read the fine notes for the minutes, which I'm going to get into later on, I'm going to try and tag some people now at the beginning of this, before when I go to look up some notes that I need to go over with you guys in the Injustice scene. I'm going to tag a couple of people so that way they can either come to stream or come here whenever it is they can amidst my giving a damn right now, so that way I can read the notes. I need NRS people to read NRS shit, so that way I know what I'm getting myself into if I choose to want to give myself a migraine on purpose. For lack of a better term. So I decided that with Mortal Kombat, I'm just going to stick to doing co-commentary and co-hosting with other people's events, so that way if they need me, they know where to find me. I'm aware of how hard good help is to find, and I always make myself available for Queen Shantz and Black Jesus or King Lord Beerus as they need. And so I'm just going to keep up that same ritual in order to help them out as they need. I'm not going to throw my hat back into the ring to do shit for Mortal Kombat. If the community seeks something from me, it needs to show me and my brand its respect, which in previous incarnations from the past 2 pending 3 icons I attempted to host, it has not done that. So it gets nothing from me. And even the people that say to just pick up the new game, no, you need to just pick up a new attitude adjustment or get the fuck out of my face, because it's not worth it. It's not worth sitting here catering just to... Yes? It's not worth catering to just the 1 or 2 people when you need to have just 8 people to get anything going. I can do exhibitions all day, but exhibitions aren't going to make the sun rise. And then on top of that, Mortal Kombat 11 is where I aim to start. It's where I did start, which is one mess after another one between each Iacon and the liars I had to deal with there. One of the liars here in my own group chat that honestly could have won his first Iacon ever if the faggot just stayed and fought the fucking match in grand finals instead of giving me every type of excuse to just leave. He actually could have won his first Iacon and stopped bitching. But oh no, we just have to embrace the struggle, even when we don't need to. Alright. Oh, he's on GTA, that's why. Forgot that's Nick's GTA account. I was talking about Mortal Kombat. I stayed using my resources from MK11 and X and Injustice 2 by just doing commentary work and bracket work for other TOs. So if they need someone who's on hand, every one of them always call me because they need somebody competent and that knows the work. Which I'm trying to think, how the hell do you have all these people in your following that don't know the work? And then that's why I think, wait a minute, I'm actually preaching to myself. Let me just shut the fuck up and do the job. It's a whole other level of patience, consistency, and effort. You have to do twice as much effort just to get the people. Oh no, it's more toxic. I honestly debate that between Mortal Kombat and old school Street Fighter, it's the core of general toxicity to our fighting game community. Destiny was my last romp. After Destiny, there really hasn't been a purpose to go back to any of those games. Rainbow Six Siege, I might go back every now and then because I don't have any problem with playing or delving into Rainbow Six Siege from time to time as long as it's actually worth my time to go back there or the update feels good. I think there's a recent update they came up with. They have a new operator that's coming out, so I definitely will go back in order to try him out. His name was Deimos or something. So I'm curious if he's an attacker or defense operator. A name like that, he sounds like it's a defense operator. I'm just curious on what type of other perks that they're trying to give him or pop into a tactical first-person shooter-based game. Because they still haven't delved into any SOCOM-y type of special abilities and whatnot that you can use in tactical-based shooters. I'm surprised they haven't tried and delved into that yet. So from there, let me go over the physical background here for the event, and then I'll go on ahead into the next thing here, because when I first went into it, from the Injustice event onward, the first two Injustice events weren't a setback. It was Iacon Injustice 2, which I got Hendikid and a lot of those old schoolers, and then the one I co-signed on with Pro Legends was the one that introduced me to Tweety. And a lot of those where I got to meet actually a lot of the alumni that I like, the old school Injustice Mortal Kombat players that I didn't think I'd meet that I actually am pretty friendly with now. Hey Nepgear, what's going on? I'm doing an Iacon meeting right now, so everybody in Iacon City, I have this open across all my social media so that way I can hear from everybody that wants to help me in constructing the next direction I need to take, with a lot of my core pillars here for the events all compromised. So that's why I need to know, what do the people want me to do next that they actually will do because it's what they want, and that I can do it without it setting me back anything. Because during the main pillars, when they're around, I take these and I try to apply them as trial runs so that way I can see how well all of them do. That way, if nothing happens to it, that's fine, because it doesn't affect the core pillars. That way I can deviate to different things. I can still cater to the communities. I'm still in the fighting game community scenes. I can still grow my brand, and it can still become a live stream for different areas as it needs to, as it's been doing for PlayStation. And now with the core ones compromised, one of those other ones that we branched into has to be something that's going to take its place. It has to be at this point. And the problem is that I've been asking a lot of people that just autopilot answers, and I need people that give core answers, because it's at a point of no return right now where there has to be a consensus on what's going to happen. Otherwise, it just fails. And personally, I'm fine with Iacon dying to a degree, because that takes a huge weight off my back in trying to deliver every week or every other week when I do want to do these things, and then it does a huge service for the online communities as an untold hero. But at the same time, these do create a lot of convenient and inconvenient aneurysms from time to time, depending upon the environment. That people will never know. And that's perfectly fine. I just keep it to myself, and I whine and bitch in silence. Main thing is to do the job, and then make sure you guys are seen and appreciated as you would. Since you're here, if there's anything that you wish to contribute for anything of the direction, let me know. And just sit and chill and just listen so far. So, and then with Combat, that was the name of the event that was catering to Mortal Kombat. It was called Iacon Meeting. I wanted to try and have my own spin on my name for the event, which worked. Even had its own hashtag. I had a small circle that I wanted to seek to go into when I was first starting into Iacon for Mortal Kombat, so that way I can try and have it delve into a bigger live stream for longevity purposes, which kind of worked, kind of didn't work. At the time now, I have Ryder, I have Sparks, I got Mink, Raging Venom, and now King Lord Beerus with me that are trying to back me on wanting to create a small project for Iacon Meeting on Mortal Kombat 1. Should the crossplay do well enough for me to launch this off of. And then I had a whole game plan written for that, so even though I can't do this on PlayStation, if crossplay is successful, I can launch this from PC to PlayStation. That way it saves a few $100s. That's $400, $500 I can stay in my pocket. I can pick up the collector's edition on PC. I can go ahead and I can start my live stream for PC and console both. All's right with the world. That's where the patch notes come into play, because I need an NRS person to help me read the patch notes. That way I know what they're talking about and what they did with the crossplay. Which, if there's any of you guys out there and lurking, let me know.
Speaking of those patch notes, I forgot to look at those the other day. Let me go look at those right now. That's my fault.
That's in the Discord, no problem.
Okay, how far are they?
Next on the table is Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. That one right now is in a state to be determined, because I have had this on hiatus until I sort out the Under Night icons. Because the backfire, in order to optimize the lane and the viewing options, was to take a note out of Don Khan's playbook and create a few PC versions of the Iacon battle circuit for Blaze Blue. This way I can seize the lane more optimally for both tunnels in order to put more lesser seen players in the driver's seat of becoming champions or top 8ers. That way they can get seen, they can get appreciated, and they can become valued and not undervalued, being in the shadows of other players that always keep going to the bigger scenes because it's habit at this point. The thing that was just stopping me was the general concrete activity of players, because the PC port was not good at all compared to the PlayStation version game. So I can't assure that I have players to really make that happen. It's a dice roll that I want to be more educated on before rolling it effectively.
So then basically...
Yes?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish, right?
Alright, then with Melty Blood, also that's in a state to be determined. Because the next Melty Blood that's on the table is the Pinnacle that I spent a couple of months trying to promote. The main reason why I had to put that on hiatus immediately is because Under Night shafted me literally the day of the announcement of it. And then everything and all my plans for both of those games just kind of went to shit because Under Night Celeste. And then everybody from all those communities all went right into Celeste. again, the same thing was to happen there, because now that I have the PC, which also happened a little bit before the Pinnacle after announcement, was that I can actually, I've been playing in Melty Blood PC tournaments more. I've been doing those like every other week. Is that it's the same premise for me to want to try to host that on PC and console. That way, again, optimize the viewing lane and whatnot. Because I noticed so far that a lot of the Melty Blood scene already puts me on a high pedestal with Zeb Strika and Railfire Legion already as the trifecta under plus frames. That is seeing to Melty Blood's prosperity as a whole, as niche as that game is, and it's being given a proper life in the mid stages of its lifespan right now, which I'm happy for, and I'm happy that that game is prospering like it should. There's still a rampant Melty community in EU. Maybe there's some in NA as well. There is still some in NA. The NA scene is who we've been looking at so far. EU is a thought. EU is a strong thought, because it does have, it's like Melty Blood does have rollback. I've tested it so far. I've been fighting a lot of people of NA on different parts of the world, and even I fought a few Japanese players in some matches. Honestly, it might be like jumpy at times, but that rollback is crisp. I can't knock it. It's good. But the PC version of the rollback is actually more noticeable when it's kicking in than it is on console. Because on console, I can't ever tell when I have laggy matches sometimes. It's just either something drops or shit just acts like it shouldn't. And then other times the match will be crisp. On PC, everything moves kind of at a just as fast of a pace as I would expect. But then if shit drops, it's noticeable. And then when stuff confirms, and you can feel that it's going to confirm, you feel everything from start to finish. Like, the input comes out exactly at the frame timing it's supposed to. Now, with EU players, I'm kind of curious about that, because there's a couple of the EU players, the guy and I think one of them was they them from Dragon Ball. They pitched to having a PC EU tournament. Now, if they have enough people, okay, I'll give it a thought. And I could make the same argument for Melty Blood or even Blaze Blue or Guilty Gear. Like, if there's enough people of that region that want one or would like to have one, yeah, I can host it. I just need to hear the consensus. Because I don't want to put it out there myself and then have no takers compared to if the demand just came to me because, okay, this person literally just told me that they would like one. Yeah, just making it available, pretty much. Okay, and then from there, I went over 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're gonna go ahead and circle back around to Mortal Kombat real quick. Okay, and as you were?
So basically what was happening with that whole shit was there would be so many people, like in a King of the Hill or something, that the game would bug to the point where your frames would start dropping because everybody's pressing pause, like in the middle to look at movesets and shit like that. So like if you had like more than 2 or 3 people in a King of the Hill that were like trying to look at movesets, like it even happened like on console a couple times, I'm pretty sure, but they fixed it faster on console because their console base is so much better. That when it would break on console, it wouldn't be as noticeable, so players were just playing in it still. And instead it would just look like they're lagging. But on PC, it was so noticeable to the point where they were like complaining about it, and they were like, yeah, we can't even play this game. Like, it was that bad. It got bad. Like, I saw Lino have it on Ninja Killer stream live one time, and he goes, what is this shit? Like, I can't play the game. And so what happened is that he was in the King of the Hill. I think it was him rewinding like 3 other players, and they all like went in pause to look at movesets or like would tab out, and it would fuck it over because it'd be like mid-match or like in the middle of rotating, and it would just fuck it all up. It like ended up ruining the game for like 3 days.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it just didn't work out like they thought it was gonna work out.
Hey, Sonic Water, what's going on? Did you have anything that you wish to contribute for tonight's meeting? Just let me know.
Trying to work on Vidal.
But in terms of the patch notes themselves, when they said about crossplay, how was crossplay incorporated into the video game?
Crossplay. Okay, so with crossplay, you can queue Xbox players on PlayStation, but like you can't queue PC players, which I don't know if they fixed that yet because I haven't been on it in like 2 or 3 days. But I think they were talking about adding it to where you can play with PC players, but I don't think it's gonna be good if they do because then everybody's gonna be complaining. Oh, he has IFPS. Oh, you know this, that, and the third. And I don't think it'd be a good idea even if they did. Even if they already did, it's not a good idea. But like most of the times you'd queue an Xbox player and it would be like hella like laggy, but it would be because the consoles aren't mixing together as well as it would be.
Damn.
Like, you know how in Justice, you would queue like an Xbox player and it wouldn't be as laggy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mortal Kombat, oh, it was fucking terrible. I think the only Xbox player that I queued that wasn't laggy was Koizi, and that was it.
Damn, so PC people can't communicate with the console base at all then?
Mm-mm.
Fuck.
It's fucking terrible. And then
Oh,
again, like, Xbox can't even play with PlayStation unless you guys, like, queue each other. Because there's not a room system yet. From what I've seen, so.
Yeah, that I read. They still haven't put just simple room-based shit yet for that game.
Yeah. That game's completely fucked. It's not finished. I don't even play it like that anymore. I'll get on there, like, every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even think it's worth buying, to be honest. I think you just save your money until they actually finish it. Which they won't end up finishing it till, like, fucking July, maybe August. So I would just give it some time.
Okay. What is it about? This is Sonic Water. This is about the current state of the Iacon Battle Circus. That way I know as a whole what do I want to delve into next, which is why I have this open on all my pillars right now between Twitter Live, here on Twitch. I can't do YouTube for whatever reason because I don't know how to do that triple OBS shit. And Instagram. That way I can have a feed, or at least a way to visually be in contact with everybody that's going to reach me in one way or another, in order to weigh in on what they want or would like within reason for Iacon. So far before I got started here tonight, there's mainly just 2 people that gave me an idea on what they would personally like from the Iacon Battle Circuit, which I appreciate. And so I'm trying to hear other people's ideas so that way I can get an idea what is important for the brand right now to go forward. Because while personally I do want to quit while I'm behind, I also know that Iacon is still a necessary cog for many systems where they do need it. Case in point, what I was talking about earlier, Melty Blood. Guilty Gear once upon a time before crossplay came through. Fighters, debatably. Injustice, debatably.
I mean, as you know, Fighters is just gonna have randomized tournaments randomly by random people anyways. But I feel like you get a lot of viewing from it, like, at random points. Especially when you're, like, doing it for somebody else. So I feel like if you, like, put yours out there when you're doing another one, then it could help. So, like, for instance, like, when you're doing Cookout, you can always try to, like, you know, slide in something about your tournament, like, when it's happening and stuff like that.
As long as he's promoting it, or if he seeks to promote it, yeah.
Yeah.
The key thing is to always be open. That way everybody has an idea of always... It's the inclusion aspect. That's the main thing on how everybody comes up in that scene. Is the inclusion. Right. Not everybody has it, because it has to be either... It always has to be a factor of it's about me or it's about nothing. That's where the oppression has been, which is why it led to people like KLB or me or Midas, where we try to change the ecosystem systemically through the years and trying to do our hustles. And we do self-promotions as we became those next generation entities.
Right.
But there's a person above us that has as much. Honestly, I had as much clout as him once upon a time, but he blew up because of Street Fighter and won because of someone else that became an eventual enemy. But before then, honestly, me and him had the highest clout on the whole video game for online, directly under Spooky.
Gotcha.
Because it was HOC, then NLBC, then FDA, then me. But that's a tale for another time that I will get into only when I do my documentary about each of the years of Dragon Ball FighterZ, when I go over my competitive career through the video game. And let's see here. And Guilty Gear itself. For Dragon Ball, the optimization of both lanes was my initial game plan in getting the PC. And it was the plan to jump from console to PC in order to seize full command of the entire lane. That way I could just regain my spot as one of its most active or influential TOs to the generation. That was the original game plan. It was like, why would I want to continue being in people's shadows when I can just be the one to cast the shadow and still share the wealth?
Right.
And then the inclusion of that 50-50 was really just horrible. Because for PlayStation, it was always the tricky part in getting the people, or people that were always late, still always late. And then even when it kicks off, people want to pull up or suddenly read their DMs or the messages. It's too slow for my taste. And then for PC, I get tired of leaving the door open for PC players if they really want an Iacon, or complain that they want one, just to not show up when I have it.
And that's the downside to doing it sometimes. Is people want it so bad, and then they forget about it, and it's like, you wanted me to do this, but yet you didn't show up. And I think it also depends on if they think about it, they want it, they ask for it, and then something comes up, but they don't say anything about it, because they don't want to be disappointed, or to make you seem disappointed.
And that's the other thing. I'm disappointed when there's a lack of communications, not because people don't show up. I'm fine. If events are canceled, like in the beginning stages of it, before I got wise on how these events really ran, yeah, a part of me did get disappointed that the event doesn't go off. But as I got wise to this, I become more disappointed that I'm not earnestly being communicated with my audience. The communications is always one side. Like, if things happen IRL, you don't have to tell me in detail what's going on. That's your business. But do tell me, hey, I gotta back out. Hey, something came up. Hey, I'm gonna be late or something. Is it possible that you can push my time back or something for when match? Something to let me know that your initial sitting may or may not be compromised, but you're still available to a degree to be here, or you may not be here at all. That way it's not left to assumption, it's not left for me having a headache in order to either take you out or replace you. I say it over and over again that it's easier to take you out of an event than put you in one. It's always easier to take you out than put you in. That's the main mantra why we say to always sign up on time.
Right, and that's when I'm like, when I know I'm not doing anything, that's why I don't sign up early for the icons when I do them. It's because I don't know what my days are looking like. So if you know, like, hey, I want to do this, but, like, I don't know what my day's gonna look like, that's why, like, you, like, yeah, you should do this, but, like, I'm not gonna sign up till, like, the day of it, because I might have stuff to do.
Right. Like, it's fine. It's like, I'm fine with signing up the day of. Just don't sign up at the time of. Like, last day, that's fine. But, like, last minute within the next couple hours or whatnot, when it looks like, okay, I could probably just go on ahead and walk away from it, and then people start showing up last minute within the hour, that shit gets really annoying.
Yeah. Because it's like, okay, well, now I have to expand the roster and randomize the roster again.
Right. Or if I originally was just going to go ahead and close up shop anyways and just go do my thing, now suddenly, okay, now I have to host this shit because you guys showed up last second when you could have just showed up early. Fuck's sake. But hey, that's the job. There are some of those days, piling on more than others, where I'm just not supposed to like it, and I don't like it. But I make sure that I fulfill my obligation to deliver the best like I always do, because that's what I do.
Right.
And then, amidst the complications in hosting these for either or so far, the viewing for every Iacon hosted for Dragon Ball so far has not faltered from its general optimization. Each one so far has brought me the most amount of views that I've had out of all of the branching off points that I would seek to have had by now. It's the most viewed or the most anticipated event for the main trio. Second at this point would probably be Guilty Gear. And then Uni is looking like it's trying to hard contest.
Yeah. I mean, look, I feel like when you do events, they do pretty well for, like, events that are in the shadows.
Pretty much. It's like the one that's like all the like the promotion for these is always done weekly. I do them every day or every other day depending upon how I feel or if I'm tired. The main one where I have help getting the promotion out there to where other TOs are also helping to get that out there as a part of the ecosystem is always Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue kind of, and Melty Blood. Because Melty Blood, they try to have a very inclusive community, so they always want to try and make sure that the PC people and the console people are always eating. Even if there's no Matcherino, they're always eating at an event.
Right.
And then Guilty Gear, honestly, just because I know Ember and Nick, my stuff is always in circulation by default.
Yeah.
That's why I'm actually kind of thankful that I met the right people very early on in my travels through the beta of Guilty Gear before the real deal. And I already met all the right people, so all my eggs are already in one basket. All I do is just let them. And so that's with Dragon Ball. And then with Guilty Gear, that's the third of the pinnacles. That's the third of the main cogs to my system. Because this one, now that I have it on PC and console both, I can have this one actually be an interchangeable event now. The more I realized it, because I have it on both, because I've been trying to compete in the background on PC, depending upon when events are happening that are advantageous to my schedule, which not too many of them. Well, I've only been like what, maybe 3 or 4 in the background to a couple of those Paragon events, the Paragon ladders. This shit's long. But I feel like I can mix and mesh extra days I'm off or not competing or co-hosting to possibly seed extra days for the Guilty Gear lane that I can expand on with these. Hopefully maybe even finding more people that can either commentate or play in the process of this lane.
Yeah.
Also feel in the process of this, in addition to that, I've been contemplating for the active games or for this one if it was necessary to try to attach to the $5 late fee to it or not in order to help to boost online attendance and to help a Matcherino pot along, since there's always the conjunction of a Matcherino to Guilty Gear. It's just a side thought. Because all the other games right now, while it helps to have that process along, it's not gonna get seen to. Like, people will be on time, but it's still going to be a shot for attendance, because all the main people that could communicate in the earlier part of the afternoon would just communicate in the later half of the evening.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I can't really say much on like trying to find players because like I put your Guilty Gear event in all my Discords. Every time you do it, I put it in all the Guilty Gear Discords.
Yeah.
Because I know you're trying to get it out there. So I'm like, let me help a brother out, because I know how it feels to like try to get people for an event and then you just can't because nobody wants to join.
Right. And the thing about it is because I haven't really been in for the past few Guilty Gear meetings, so I don't really know what's going on. What's the state of play for the game right now?
Yeah. I mean, like, what is it? I always forget what it is. It's Tampa something, but it's one of the online.
Tampa never sleeps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, phone.
Like that event gets hella people still.
It does everything that Tong hosts. He does these like weekly for a lot of the events he's hosting because that's his job. TOing is his job, even though it's such a huge detrimental work to rely on for actual income. That's Tong's life. That's a part of his life, is income doing tournaments.
Yeah.
That's why he has to have those ads going or it's murder to his pockets. You post everywhere for events. For most of them, yes. Others, I post in the key areas where it'll have the most traction by default. That's why I'm always in the maximum amount of Discords, because I have like a good 6 or 7 Discords per pillar that are active, so it just makes sense to pop them in these Discords compared to putting them in all Discords where it'll lessen the optimization of it being seen, because there's dozens of other people also posting in self-promo. Where instead I can just post it in the Discord relevant to the activity and it gains the most traction. Just depends on how vocally active or visually aware the Discord is. Like for instance, the events I was talking about, Melty Blood, I'm in 5 different Melty Blood Discords. I can post that in, boom. Even if it may be like half the same people still. For Guilty Gear, I can post that anywhere. In addition to the main TO chat, Nick's Discord, Tampa's, Bum sometimes, and Loops, Backpacks, Claire now, and Ember's old Discord, her Discord. I can post them all in those main areas, and it gains the most optimization. Oh, and Test Your Luck's Discord. I can post it in all these main areas of optimization in order to get the correct amount of views and attention on it. And because this is ever since crossplay, I would think it could get more, but it gets less. And that's a fair trade-off. That's fine. The main reason why that is probably is because it's a PlayStation scene, and that's fine, because I'm not giving up my Sunday spot. Because I've attested to the test of time so far that I'm the last console scene for Guilty Gear, and even though I can switch over to PC to do that, to continue hosting, I keep it over here because I aim to keep the tradition going. And then for Dragon Ball, I post that everywhere. Dragon Ball and Injustice, I post that everywhere I go. I don't know who has or had Injustice, so I leave the door open for anybody at any time. For BlazBlue, I post it in the Discords of fellow TOs that are doing anime fighter games, mainly. That way I know, okay, there's a chance that they do anime fighter, so if they do DNF or they do Uni, they probably done a BlazBlue or they probably have done a Melty, so let me go ahead and cater to this. There's 2 official BlazBlue Discords that I'm in that are active, that the most active, I just go to them. And then I work with those. For Twitter, I always do the main tweet out, because doing a tweet of that every day, every other day, that shit is tiring. I can't do that shit anymore. I just keep retweeting the main thing over and over again. That way, it just keeps reappearing on my Vine. I only go to redo it again like every 2 or 3 days is when I go to redo a new tweet of a tournament that I'm hosting. And I just hope that the people that I either ping to it or that I tell about it, okay, just retweet it on my Twitter if you want to, blah, 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 blah. Because like, when I had the energy to post those things every day, I could do that every day, but I can't do that shit every day for like 2 or 3 different events and then post it 2 or 3 different events every day. I'm not doing that shit. And I even have a bot to try to help out with that, but the bot the bot was written for a different type of code, and that wasn't for promotion on Twitter. It was for the promotion here on the Twitter and YouTube things. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll sacrifice it there for here, so that way the promotion for doing Nightbot and Mini Rodbot, that's fine. They're doing their shit here. Because Twitch and Twitter... Twitch originally was an outsider source for my media, and then little by little it became like a second extension of my YouTube. Because YouTube was originally like my home content making thing, and now Twitch is that too a couple years later. Because I wasn't really that giddy about Twitch then like I am now. And kind of sort of not with the paycheck I've been getting from them, but that's a different story. Question is, Injustice PC or PlayStation? I set up solely on PlayStation. I practice and I try to keep practicing combos on PC. I have it on PC. The problem is that PC's port for that game is ass. Lobbies are very inconsistent with setting them up. And if you come across a laggy opponent, or if the people can't connect, the file just crashes outright. It doesn't even lag, it just crashes. This shit is just ass.
Hold up. I gotta join this other party real quick.
Mm-hmm. It's a thought to host on PC, but everybody that I would host for has to be wired, and they all gotta be of East Coast. I can't risk East Coast, West Coast conflict for that video game. Like, if there's more active people for PC than there are for console, I'd take the gamble. But there's barely anybody that speaks up for PlayStation or PC just to play the exhibitions, let alone a tournament or the event that I made. If you saw the preview stuff on Twitter and on in the Discord, the Trials of Shazam. It's basically that event, because I'm trying to get as many people involved with the event, because eventually it's going to lead up to a community-funded money match between the 2 people with the most points at the end of the point system. That way I'm going to host a money match for them. And then the winner of the event will be the Heralder of Shazam, which I will actually reward them with the championship for the Iacon Battle Circuit for the Injustice branch. Which, for me, it'll be the equivalent. It'll be the equivalent of winning a tournament, because it's just as much, it's just as thorough, it's just as invested, and it's just as competitive, in my opinion. And an easier sorting system to find people that are willing to play. The schedule is open every Wednesday or every other Wednesday, whenever it is I have stream up to when I close stream. I just need people to just be mindful of the time, come in, play their matches. Bada bing, bada boom. It's had its ups and downs with consistency, yes, and everybody's always been late, but they do get a chance to play and try to enjoy themselves, so... Yeah. Necessary things. I just wish I wouldn't have to keep coming out of retirement to keep playing them, but we take sacrifices. And then, well, Sonic, do you play Injustice? Because if you do, I'd be happy to host you for it. Just let me know if any of your friends also have it too. They can be good, they can be bad. The key thing is that they just have fun. The main focus is to have fun playing a game that you love. people before are always worried about getting clapped by experienced players. Like, no, experienced players don't, like, good players don't come to me. Like, players that have been playing a long time do. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're always good. They know shit, but I don't know if they always apply things. It's like before MK1 got here, yeah, I mean, a good player or a higher level player would come by every once in a blue moon. But ever since the newer games have been getting here, they've been paying less and less mind to my scene. Which means that's more and more focus for me to put that attention to other people, lesser known names, and people that haven't been seen. That way they can be seen. And those will be the new faces that I invest in. Because people always don't invest in newer names because they don't think there's any profit off of investing in newer people that are no names or blueberries, constructively speaking. I say there is, because you're building people into being the monsters that will be the faces of your brand, rather than banking on old dinosaurs that, yes, can run the lane or command the lane, but they're not always going to be around playing. That's the thing. You're banking on the last generation of good players instead of banking on the newer generation of good players. That's the one thing that the NRS scene kept failing at, but the anime fighting scene in select places kept dominating at. That's why I focus heavily in the anime fighting genre and not the NRS fighting genre. Because there's more prosperity in building newer faces than relying on past faces.
I joined this
and
other
this is
party.
even backed up in...
No, I joined this other party and the guy I played was in there. I didn't even know.
And this is even backed up in with games like DNF or Guilty Gear and Melty, and probably even Uni. The more I actually delve into Uni's platform as we continue hosting those, is that there's always newer faces. It's never the same abundance of players. It's never the same fucker winning. Well, no, that's one of the beauties about being one of the head honchos for side note realms. That's the beauty of being a head honcho for the lane, is because I can control those systemically as I can. That's why when Arias and Oxy are not around, I try to promote the fuck out of the bracket. That way we can get a new champion in this hush puppy. Yeah, see, there you go. That's why I'm thinking, like, fuck, if you're really that discouraged that the boy's gonna beat the pants off you, then just pocket watch my events like they do. Watch my event. Who's on here today? I don't know if I want to join in. Can do. Oh, and that's another thing I'm also going to get into. Because, I mean, yes, like, gatekeeping is the one thing that I'm not for. But at the same time, I can see in the process of creating them that I can understand why it's a necessary process at times that you want to either found and that you want to also find loopholes for in case it becomes a big issue. And by that, I mean, okay, each of these lanes that I mentioned so far. Alright, those of you guys in chat, name which one of my lanes so far that you're keen to. And you probably can already name, like, the head honchos for those lanes that always run my lanes. Or when they're here on bracket, they always win. Go on ahead. You can hold your peace. You can say. This is all a community meeting. I'm not judging anybody. I know you guys do pay attention to all the events, or whichever lanes that you guys all come from, because I've seen 4 or 5 people here so far that do come from 2 and 3 different lanes. Because this also goes in the promotional value for all these events. Is also how to counteract the gatekeeping effect. What did you say? No, I said Sonic. With all the lanes that I've hosted so far, and the ones that are still here, you can name the gatekeeper players that I have in play that when they're here, they usually always win. or they're always an endgame person that you have to deal with. And to some regard, as much as they contribute to the prosperity of having competition at my scene, they've also driven away dozens of other people too, because they don't want to fight this person just to lose to them, or there's always some reason why. And the key thing is I want to have them here because if they complain about not being seen, but they don't want to come here to be seen at the cost of being clapped, I can't help you with that. Because you have to risk getting clapped in order to be seen. That's a part of the fighting game community. It's called taking responsibility for your upkeep. Lethal, Oxy. Yeah, Lethal does dominate. Oxy dominates wholeheartedly. Because Lethal got her first championship. Oxy got his 11th championship. You're forgetting, there's Arius. He was a 9-time champion. There's Reese when he was here. There's Jack-o'-lantern when he was here. Double L. KJ's on his way. My founding Iacon champion, Coda. The Cuckoo Clock. That's for Dragon Ball anyways. I need my get back. Stay lurking on my scenes, and you will eventually get your get back. With Lethal or Oxy? I was about to say, if you pocket watch my scenes, you'll get your run back. Because there are some people that have been doing just that. Lethal? Oh, give it time, you will. You'll get your rematch. And then with Guilty Gear, I thought it was going to be Red Nose actually, and then it actually developed into being Flares, Flare G. Because mine and Backpack actually put him on the map as being one of the best chips in NA. Because what was it? The B or whoever it was that was like one of the top 10 Mays of the event literally just cheesed his way into grand finals doing some bullshit. And then he did the most toxic thing ever, but I gotta give that kid props. Jefferson is OD. Like, this dude literally got 2-0'd on purpose to reverse perfect 3-0 him, just to prove the point that it wasn't worth his time. And I'm just like, I'm done, kid. That was just too extra that it was everything I wanted. Because I was a top May on online leaderboards that just Totsugeki'd their way into grand finals because, Dolphin shit. But then there was Flare. Then there was Tired Mage. That was when I first met him under his original tag, because he was originally called King Mage, for those that don't know that. That was back when he was playing under Vasto Lourdes. And when I hosted the first Iacon weekend with a double Matcherino for Guilty Gear, I gotta give him credit. That's the first time I didn't see Flare sweat bullets. And he managed to break the streak. Because Flare was on a good 4 or 5 Iacon straight win streak that was broken by him. And then when he wasn't around, then I'd seen Rough Prophet or Cherry Cage or Luke, Hamlet, and a few others. And then there was Iacon 13 that introduced my next killer, and that was Kaneki, if you guys know of the Red Reaper.
Stay away.
Oh man, that man was a boss to be. Like, when I tell you this boy made the most godlike debut at my event. He made the most godlike debut, Bobby. Alright, so I had a decent paycheck that week. I put up a $50 Matcherino for Iacon 13, so that was the second pinnacle that I had hosted for my events. That was the pinnacle for Guilty Gear. That unnecessarily housed the sweatiest bracket I've ever hosted in the history of the Guilty Gear ideology of Iacon. I had 40 people on that shit, minimum. The only time that was almost met was almost the damn near DQ, the mass DQing outline from Iacon. It was either. I can't remember the one that Yachiru Danny won. I can't remember. I gotta look that up. It was the Master Chio program. Well, I'm sitting here talking about it. You can look it up in the Iacon archives if you find it. He's a Gold Lewis player. Because he actually beat Kaneki in that grand finals. Because that was way after Kaneki lost the win streak. But that dude was also on a 5-game program win streak at that time. Ever since he made his debut, he has not lost a grand finals. That was the first grand finals that he lost. Because he didn't appear. He appeared at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. No, 19. Not 18. 18 was when I hosted on the crossplay, where they did the crossplay that weekend. I hosted on that one. I hosted that one with Lancered and Karasu. Because Lancered was the Bridget May player. He wasn't even at 19 either. That was because he was in the middle of transitioning over to Street Fighter during that time. He didn't feel like Kai was a good character anymore, even though Kai was still like fundamentally like wham. He was going through it. But anyway, it was those 3 people. I feel if Rough Prophet was still active at the time instead of taking his break because of the stuff going on out that way, up there in Texas, he honestly could have been a fourth of the main dudes, because he was always in a top 4, top 3 roundabout with those guys. It's just he wasn't able to take the program from those dudes.
Wait a minute.
Who? The Rough Prophet?
Hold on. No, not you.
Oh. Yeah, but the main people was Flair, and Kaneki, and Tired Mage. Because any of them 3, it's always either grand finals or it's their program by default. But I gotta hand it to him that Rough Prophet came pretty close to taking his. Diamond Router during that era came close to taking his. The Kid came close to taking his. Kids is still hunting for his Iacon program. Hamlet was hunting for his. And Astro, back when Astro was active. I don't know if you guys remember Astro or not. Hey, Demon, what's going on? And then with Blaze Blue, honestly, it's just whoever it is that has experience, they pretty much win the bracket by default. Which is why I've been hosting them as long as I have. That way we can get away from the era of the same people winning over and over again. Because Blaze Blue is such a fast-paced game that it can always be decided at any time. Because the very first Iacon was actually won by the second best Rachel player in NA that I didn't know at the time. That was actually his title for the community. And I was like, oh damn. And that was a player named Serene Smile. Or Rainy Rains. Because that was a dude, like, once I actually got better at the game, that was the dude, I wanted to fight that player in order to see how my Rachel was compared to his. I didn't realize that was actually the dude that won the premier Iacon of Blaze Blue that one fateful weekend with that beautiful controversial decision in top 4 that I regret and am given a very interesting light on that people remember for some fucking reason 2 years later. People forget so casually, but then they forget the dummy things. Nothing much, just practicing on my fight stick. How's your fight stick so far? But with Blaze Blue, honestly, the main gatekeepers, they all haven't appeared here yet. That's the funny part. Like, I haven't been doing it enough in order to really see the gatekeepers outside the ones that always come through because they're mad supporters of the scene. Because they like the name that it rolls off. The anime scene likes the way Iacon sounds when you say the name. Okay, that's kind of a W. We got our, Master Chiefs. We got my Sonicoons. Driftwood, or the Sprite Cranberry individual. True Care, which, unironically, I would have thought True Care would have been one of my, main leading champions during his run, but even before his name change. Cause he's up there. He's what Evo gave him the top Neo player of NA. He's made a Neo team with every character in the game. He's gotten a top 8 at least one time. Fun, but I'm trying to get used to it. Fair. That's fair.
I want to get a fight pet so bad.
I got you. What was it? Blade? Look, Master Chief, Sonicoon. Driftwood.
Ow.
Oh, you just got it today? Oh, good luck breaking it in. King of Ninjas is on his way, honestly. Just needs to polish off his adaptation skills a bit more. I think he can honestly take a few more events and he can match Sonicoon's record. I don't see those dudes beating a Master Chief. That's the problem. It's Master Chief is proven himself very early on. Okay, he is a solid gatekeeper for this event. You see his Mika or Ragna, that's a GG's before it's even fucking GG's. That man has so much experience.
Doing all that.
And who was that other dude? That other one that was Monkey.
That doesn't sound right.
That's actually his name.
I know. I know that's what
He plays, what did he play? He played Gordo and somebody else. This dude was tap dancing on Driftwood in the reset. I can't remember what he played. That's another player I would like to see come back. Because he's the first champion that actually turned down the Matcherino. It's he came all this way and fought all them people just for the hell of it. He just wanted to do it just to fight people. He didn't care about the money. That's the first time Zuna got paid. By me. He was in the right place at the right time to claim something. Sometimes we're making top 4 does pay the bills. First place didn't want it. Second place already left the chat, so I couldn't ask him. Third place was way gone for whatever reason. So, okay, we just go down the ladder. And then Melty Blood honestly doesn't really have definitive gatekeepers outside Omniside, yeah. And Flawless Suki, yes. And then Injustice, honestly, it's just whoever it is that's an older head. They probably win it by default. It's just whoever's going to give them the chance to try and sweat. Meanwhile, the rest of top 8's going to be sweating or getting moist trying to take them down or take a game off of them. Meanwhile, the main dude's just sitting here strolling in the grand finals. I will say though, for the NRS people, as much as they all complain about my events or find something wrong with it, most of the key ones have all tried my event at least one time. So I can't take that from them. That they were here during key points when it did matter. Whether or not it mattered to them, it did matter. So over here on Instagram, you should stick to doing Injustice events in my opinion. They have a better love for your events than the Mortal Kombat people will. I appreciate that. It's been a thought to... This is the thing, like, I do want to keep Injustice around, because, like, as much as the community's been telling me for years, insinuating that I really should just get the fuck away from it, I still care about the video game, which is why I'm still on it. Or at least I still wish to host for it, even if I don't want to compete on it anymore. I still want to host for the game. That's the struggle that I have with it. With Mortal Kombat, that's just a done deal at this point. Because I was originally really hopeful for the crossplay, bringing together the PC and console, at least for tournaments, not for crisscross and comp shit. But then again, that's specifically too complicated for the video game to understand how to do. It's got to do it its way, so they got to incorporate the Xbox fuckers. With console, even though they could literally just do that with PC, and you can still get the same rewards because Xbox and PC can literally crisscross through most of their media. But I get what you're saying, Tilly. I am gonna discontinue my illusion of hosting it or doing anything with Mortal Kombat for PC. I'm not gonna waste my money on that shit. Should I be better off, honestly, just probably fucking Street Fighter 6 and just get it done? And even then, I'm not gonna post it. But Mortal Kombat's off the table. And Injustice stays as an exhibition until people show me that they do or would like to participate in a tournament again. But thank you for the input. Yeah, thanks. I am gonna keep Injustice. I'm not gonna pursue Mortal Kombat. And then next is the commentary issue. Which for commentary, okay, it's a side issue that I'm made aware of in a lot of past trials and people's input about it. That, okay, not everybody likes my choices of commentators sometimes, either optional or settled upon. And that's fine. Like, some of the co-commentators I've reached, but these are some of the co-commentators I've reached out to thus far. I am sorry if some people out there do feel that way. I really am. But these are the people that do pull up for support. And I'm really grateful about that. These are the people that pull up that I rely on in order to cover the downtime of airtime around or amidst event matches if I can't do it or I'm not familiar with the work that well. They really do help to pitch in. I appreciate them for pulling through and helping out as they can. I don't get that much support at all doing this shit, so I'm appreciative when they do. Or when I do. I do say every time, if there's people that seek to commentate, to let me know. I can expand variety. Maybe we can get less antisocial people or more people willing to try it out. I don't know. Make some type of synergy. Make some laughs. But it's up to you guys to help with that quality of life voiceover to the commentary of the work here. Like I can't be sus all the time or try to do the commentating, whatever that thing is that I do that you guys like that I do with my commentary when it's me on the mic. There's sometimes where I don't know the work. I can't parkour my way through commentary. You have to know the meats and potatoes of some of the work. I will say, though, in my regard, I can see how some people would be L's. There are some cases I feel I made proper W choices for commentators. Like, I have a revolving door in my chat all the time with people, if they're willing to, the commentary role is right here to help out and do so. I just add them here to the chat. That way when I'm here doing something like this, someone like them can pop in and do their thing, whatever that thing is going to be, where they commentate matches. Either they know the work or they will creatively play off of my synergy or play off of my energy.
That's
or
what
make
I
their
do.
own. Yeah, that's what this one here does. This is what Saint does. She always has the energy ready to fire away.
And then I just have my random ADHD moments where I play with a quarter. If you missed that stream, you won't know what I'm talking about. But it was a good time.
Same. Oh, you see. Instagram. Only in your older Iacons, I think you had really terrible choices of commentators. In your newer ones, it's about so-so. I think you would like to find better commentators for your Blaze Blue work, though. Oh, those boys. Never mind them. Trust me, I know which one strongly you're talking about. If you're talking about my loving know-it-all.
Loving know-it-all. Isn't that great?
He means well. He really does know the work. He's a good geek. He makes the work very interesting because for all the shit that happens with that fast-ass video game, you'd be surprised that you can actually pay attention to frames amidst having a quick decision. It's just like, oh wow, I'm negative here. Boink, press. I'm plus. Grab. Hey, we can optimize a combo here. Or we can set up. And then you might die off of this because, you know, cross tag feature. We know all this stuff. Plus we know the lore. Why are you sweating on the lore? Not that I can talk with my Kingdom Hearts having ass, but still. But I know which one in particular you're talking about. The other one, if it's the one I brought on recently for my commentator work, touche. But he's earning his keep. No, Justice, that's all me. Mortal Kombat, that was all me. Guilty Gear, I'm wanting to reach out to more people to see who out there is ever really available so far in the TO groups, but all the TOs in there mainly just ping when they need help. They don't really ping to try and collab commentary things unless they're just looking for a commentator. And it's always during the day, it's never really during the latter half of the evening. And I can't get people to help out here for the commentator work, so I try to reach out in the grapevines of Twitter and Reddit. Well, those are sexy mistakes. But we have to make them in order to clear the field. Trust me, I'm still going to keep reaching out to people and still keep trying, because I don't want to always just be solo commentating for most of those things. I do want to reach out. That way, if other people want to commentate, they can be familiarized with the work. And if they also want to get the work out there, hey, it's a free promotion. That also helps you out. As long as you're helping out the platform here, I have no problem with promoting your work at any time you wish. Hell, I can even put you on the board. That way you can just be, if you're a regular, you can exclamation mark yourself, and you can literally promote yourself for free of cost. Supporters of my platform that show, okay, hey, they fuck with Iacon, they have those for free that they can apply. Anytime. All I ask for is just your support. Alright, so we went over the commentating, I went over all 6 pillars. Alright, let me pull up the fiscal matter of Iacon, and then I'm going to go on ahead and make my ruling. Now, if any of you guys out there with the minutes that I've talked on so far, if you guys have anything that you wish to say or talk about, I want to go on ahead. While I'm looking this up now, I'm looking back through my records for Matcherino and all the money I've invested across all his Iacons. Feel free to go on ahead and talk now about what you seek to see further with Iacon. I've heard some people right now so far on Instagram that say this and what they would like. I've heard the one person so far on Twitter. Anybody here on Twitch, while you guys are here lurking, let me know. Remember, I go through all this stuff in order to keep Iacon here for you guys to prosper. It's not really for me to prosper anymore, it's for you guys to prosper. I try to benefit from it, but not prosper from it. Because we are still broke at the end of the day. What about the silent people? Oh, they're gone. Like, there's a majority of silent people in my main headquarters chat right now that I'm talking in. That as long as I get in ahead of the couple of people, I'm gonna go ahead and start systematically booting a lot of them. 'Cause I prefer to keep moving with less dead weight.
As we should.
It's like a handful of people that I actually put in here, that way they can do the commentary work along with me, and they have yet to do shit to actually contribute. They just sit here and just leech off me. Don't need more people leeching off my name. Contribute to it so it grows, otherwise it falls with you. Because hell, at this point, like, I can do bad on my own. Main thing is to just have floors open so that way I can try to have better inclusion of a direction from people that are in my following, what they've seen so far, what would they like. If people are just here just to be here, then why are you here? There's easily a good 11, 12 people in this chat I could think of with that. Alright, but going over the fiscal matter, and for those of you guys that do want to see the past outline from, I guess from at least April last year, it'll be in the middle of my Discord general chat, so you guys are free to do exclamation Discord like so. Feel free to join the Discord here, and then you can see the checks for yourself from when it was for the general prize pool total. The general average every year so far that was made for all the Iacons yearly up to this point. That's how much money that's been invested in Iacon as a whole across all 6 pillars at that point. Now it's actually at 2K entirely. Is how much I lost.
Oh, that actually does kind of decent damage.
Yeah.
Sorry, ignore me. Doing Guilty Gear things.
Ah, you good. Alright, so to reiterate, so to break it down, like and what you see here for those of you guys that are looking there, that's all the same stuff I talked about with the Matcherino agent at the time, back when I had my license for doing the coupons and all that stuff with the company for Matcherino. And then we lost that end of last year. Well, it was a somber thing last year altogether, with losing both the Twitch here almost and losing the laptop, and then Matcherino also went away. So a whole lot of things all fell through, which, hey, it sucks, but shit happens. It's life. Depressing as it all is, but hey, we sit and we work these things out, I guess. So my lifetime average at that time was $24.38, $24.38. And then the average of the last 3 to 4 biggest Iacons at that time was $45. All of those were all out of pocket, mind you. The current guidelines for getting the Matcherino partnership is where you have to have a $60 to $80 average threshold without it falling. And so we delved more into this using more recent events for calcs. That was with me and the agent at that time. So 2020, my average was $33.24. Year 2021, my threshold average was $30.11. 2022, my average was $23.74. And 2023, my average was $20.81. And my threshold was close to set only at the beginning because it was more manageable and involved at the time. And then it slowly started going downhill every year. It kept dropping $3 or $4 every year because less people are involved or wanting to do anything with the Matcherino. The more I kept promoting it, the less people wanted anything to do with it. It just stayed going down and never kept going back up because of no contribution or the lack of consistency on the viewers' side, despite how often I would personally keep creating pages and completing them for us. And then next, the single-digit events. When I started new pillars or I kept experimenting, that was what was hurting my average the most. And there's a lot of those where there was no contribution or engagement nor people doing the sponsor quests. And this was calced from each new branch I created, aside from Dragon Ball Z, right? And that was to expand the brand on the PSN from, that was 2023. This was in last year in 2022. This was 2 years ago. So for instance, like when I first branched out from Dragon Ball to Guilty Gear, or Skullgirls, Power Rangers, Blaze Blue, Melty Blood, fucking DNF. But some of these entries all struggle to be anything, or still do, or were just discontinued for logical reason. And as a result, I wasn't being reimbursed by Matcherino anymore because the circuit's not complete. The people aren't doing the quest for them in order to see, okay, hey, people are doing the quest, so the Matcherino's being blessed. Eventually the TO can be blessed by compensation from the company. You're not doing the quest, they're not doing anything for me. Which is why I have to stay on, hey, do the Matcherino, hey, do the Matcherino, hey, don't forget to click the Matcherino, hey, do the quest on the Matcherino. Each one does 10, 15, blah, blah, blah cents. That eventually goes to dollar values that then will support the finalists of the event. If that's done enough times, you go positive, or at least reach the quota for the event to show, okay, the event met the quota, you broke even. Here, you get reimbursed. That shit wasn't happening. Like a lot of benefits I've been fighting to keep for Iacon, at that point were almost gone. So it was whatever at that point. And I just didn't qualify for codes anymore at this point with my current average over 3 years, almost 4 years now. Well, now it's 4 years going on 5 years. And for what it's worth, having hosted the bigger Iacon programs with a good pool to them. On the flip side, those big Iacons with the big pools only negated dozens of the programs hosted where nothing at all was on the line or contributed to the prize pool freely unless it came from my own pockets. That's why it's literally just panned out to a negative, because for instance, like one big Iacon that was worth like $50, $60 negated 7 to 8 Iacons where nobody did jack shit to make money for it. That's one big positive versus 7, 8, or 9 negatives. I want you guys to do the math on why and how that evened out negative. And I want you to think about, not to think about the events that where there was Matcherino at all, but where the biggest Matcherinos came from. So, and I'm going to point these out to you. So, Dragon Ball 13. That was a $50 Matcherino and a $25 PSN card pot. Guilty Gear 13. That was a $50 Matcherino and two $20 PSNs. And Guilty Gear 25. That was a regular $20 or $30 Matcherino. And I'm pretty sure there was another one. Oh, and the second Guilty Gear weekend. Those were two $30 Matcherinos. And then the second one became $60 because people actually were listening and donated to it. For Blaze Blue, it was Blaze Blue 7, 9, and 13. 13 specifically was a pinnacle because 13 for every event is a pinnacle. That's just what I do for my events. Because I have a quirk about the number 13. But for BlazBlue, that was a $30 Matcherino. I didn't put up as much for that one, but it showed up a lot of sweaty BlazBlue players for that event. So like I didn't have you put something on the pot, they play. It doesn't have to be a lot. So that actually was one of the more financially and competitively successful Iacon pinnacles. It was BlazBlue 13. Then Injustice 13, that was a beautiful failure. That was one where people were begging for money to be on the line for one of those events. I'm just like, okay, just help me build a 13, and then you get your money. Or you get your pot for that, because I always put up for those events. And not a damn thing happened for that one other than just a champion versus champion showdown, where we're still struggling to get people to play after the original 6 people joined up. But everybody who wanted to join up saying, hey, I could beat this guy, or I could win your event because everybody in here is free as fuck. Do it. Do it then. If you only play for money, then play for money here or shut the fuck up. And that's exactly what happened. They just shut up. They didn't show up. I got booted from chats, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that was a $40 Matcherino for Iacon Injustice 13. And I paid 2 preceding Iacon champions. And it was the first ever champion versus champion showdown at an Iacon pinnacle. That was Foreshore and Kombat. Then, well, that was Dragon Ball, Injustice. Mortal Kombat didn't even get that far. Mortal Kombat, I was just put money up just to make sure I could get the second one under play. And that shit didn't go through because people just didn't want to play the game because they thought the game was ass. But they still showed up to play or want to play after the fact. That shit pissed me off so fucking much. That was the only time where, okay, I just went negative and I had to just take a loss for $15. But the person who won the event, Julia, at least she was happy about it. She was happy she got to win her first event, or win her first tournament. It's like, okay, you know what? I'll take it. That's a W. And then Melty Blood isn't there just yet. Melty Blood had a pseudo pinnacle back at Iacon 4, because that was back when I was first leading the way for PlayStation activity for Melty Blood. And I thought I wasn't going to host it anymore, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to end this on a bang. And so far we got, we had Omni, Bank Malfunction, Lunar, the top Dan player in NA, and 2 other people, and then they just brought all of this heat across all of PlayStation to this bracket. That was Iacon 4. That was actually the biggest Iacon I've hosted for Melty Blood. I didn't know that many for a niche video game. I didn't even know that many people played that damn game like that. That's why, okay, I'm very, very intrigued on the actual pinnacle, because I want to see if I can actually reiterate that number again. Because now I'm ready. And then Dragon Ball, the most recent one was Dragon Ball's 50th, the 50th anniversary of the Dragon Ball one and the Iacon Battle Circuit. That was Iacon 50, because the one before that one, Dragon Ball 25, Iacon 25, that was won by one of the more cancerous champions I've crowned. That's done nothing but be a thorn in my side since that day. And then I ended up stripping him of his power. I still cut him a check, but I kicked him out of Iacon since then. And it was a personal goal of mine to make Iacon 50 better than Iacon 25 in every way, shape, or form, down to the Matcherino, the turnout, private invitation, the level of the event, and the presentation, and the commentary. Like, I can't even tell you guys how much work I went into to systemically making sure that Iacon 50 would be like the pinnacle online experience of Dragon Ball that video game could ever have in modern day. And a lot of people think that I delivered on it. I feel I almost delivered. I don't feel like I fully delivered on that, in the regard of, like, it was like, that one was That one was an $80 Matcherino because I had to save up. I funded 2 different Matcherinos in order to have 2 different people when they said they're going to pay me back. I need them both to pay me back here to this Matcherino. I needed to go ahead and do that also after the bills were paid here to funnel the correct amount of money each time I was doing something. So when I have enough money left over here, like maybe $4 or $5, I keep sliding it into the Matcherino little by little. That way it doesn't set me back. That's a few bucks here and there I can actually part with, and little by little it adds up. And then I also set aside a little bit of a goose egg, so just in case I wanted to try and hire a commentator, which I originally was trying to do. Then I can hire a commentator that can work between the hours of 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock, or 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock if he charges by the hour. Because I want to try and make sure I get in as much of that shit as fucking possible to make sure I get my money's worth and not a penny more. Like, guys, I can't even tell you how much trouble I went through in order. I had to go through like 15 commentators to try and find somebody, and I still couldn't find somebody to sit for that sitting on Saturday. Half the fuckers I had to worry, like, that said no because of fucking bum and AOC. And the other half of them, it was just scheduling issue, which left me with either Chris Matrix, Mustard, Paprikas, I can't think of that guy that always works with Yipes, but he was available for it. I couldn't afford him. And Posey. Posey was the one I wanted to fall back on the most, because Posey, I think, would be the most enriching commentary experience for Iacon. And I'm just sorry to you guys that I could not deliver on that. It was just no way. It was a scheduling thing again. So I tried the Chris Matrix thing, that didn't work out. Tried seeing if I could get Scamby, that didn't work out because his kids thing was always around the weekend, so I can't do anything. Or Bum was always on the weekend, so we couldn't do anything with that. I couldn't get Alucard. I couldn't get June. I couldn't get Crazy Matmans. I couldn't get Tomoko. Even tried to settle with Neo. Couldn't do that. But then one of my friends did want to step up and co-commentate with that event in order to give me the energy and help me with that stuff, and I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate it, because I was a lot of shit in the background was just falling through that I was just giving me like the biggest migraine ever, because like I trusted so many fuckers that to come through on that shit, and Neo let me down a lot, and I let him know that every day, that you disappointed me a lot on that day when I needed you the most. Like, I get you doing shit with Bum, but the main thing you failed to tell me was that you were doing it in the first place. Bum has 3-4 of the niggas there. You can take time off from helping him to help me. Especially after all that shit I do for you. For free.
Ah, my eyeball. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, you know how to pay attention. And I know a lot of you guys back then, you guys were all really happy about how Iacon 50 went through, and I'm blessed that I was able to deliver for you guys. It's just for me and my personal taste, I didn't feel like I delivered. I didn't feel like I fully delivered on it like I wanted. For Melty Blood, I'm dubious on how I want to do that one, but I think I'm also going to try and simplify the baggage on my end. So when the time comes and I do play out my cards for Iacon 13 for Melty, it'll be at a proper time where I can have the full lane. And I want to already have preset commentators that are just going to be commentating. I won't be commentating for that event. I want to try and I want to try and toss that off to other commentators. That way they can. I'm trying to make this a big lens for that game. That way this is the who's who for PlayStation Melty Blood playing. I want to have that a slice of that if I can't be the whole face of it. But I also want the commentators to not be me. I want those to be other people that are getting themselves out there. That way they can be promoting their shit in that lens. I'll be fine. I want my people to also be fine. If you guys understand what I'm saying. That way when I blow up, we all blow up.
Wait.
Yes.
Not you. I'm trying to do this combo.
Alright. But as it stands at this time, like fiscally speaking, nah, I'm broke. I've been broke for a while. That's why I've been trying to continue the roots of other incentives with besides Matcherino, and I've tried to push the narrative that it's not always about the money in trying to play in these events. Money is a benefit of playing, but it's not always the main reason why you're playing. For some people, yes, money is the only thing that matters, but for other people, it's not. Because I thought it was the same thing, which is why I kept trying to think of other ways in order to keep my business aloft, but not have me be in the red. Because I had to put a Matcherino up for every Iacon. I wouldn't have even gotten the Iacon this far if I had to put up money every fucking time. I've been doing this shit 5 years now. But my pockets get tired too. I know it doesn't matter to anybody, but it matters to me, because it's mine. A lot of this sounds expensive. Running a business it's expensive. Like, even for something as simple as this, yeah, it's really costly. Which is why I try to keep it as simplistic as possible in managing a lot of my resources. All on PlayStation, mediating what I can with the PC, and being mindful of outer worldly elements too, between electricity and bills that this one over here reminds me of all the time, because it's her problem too, when it's not always her problem. Because I pay the bills around here too. I can only do this so much to pay the bills, and still try to pay out a Matcherino shit if it's coming out of my pockets too. And still have nothing come back to me. That's why I try to, as much as you guys are always against trying to pay to play, that's why I always push for the late fee shit. So that way, if you're late, since all you guys are going to keep being late, or keep being late for the majority of the time, I will charge you for it. And I can see why you guys have a problem with it, but you also see why I do it in the first place. And honestly, to some degree, going forward, I feel like I should do it more. That way, if you guys are going to be cognizant about your pockets, then why aren't you also cognizant about people's time? Even when it may not be your own, you know? And besides, if I do these things with the fees, I only charge $5. Because I don't pocket anything of this. I have it for the Matcherino so that way it goes back into your guys' pockets. Or for who's playing in the event. So that way at least I can see, in some way I do get compensation, I just don't have to physically have it. If it's for the event, that's peace of mind enough to know, okay, the event is saved. Fiscally speaking. Now, I'm gonna take a break for a couple minutes. I want to hear what it is you guys are saying. Speak up, and I mean, speak up, please, on what you would like me to do with the Iacon Battle Circuit before I make my own decision, if nobody has anything to input. And that's what the hell this is gonna be, because I said so. and this is not to be contested. I only say it harshly like that because whenever it is that it comes to a lot of these stressful decisions, I do try to be mindful and be open with everybody everywhere in my following, so that way I'm not trying to hide anything. I have nothing to hide. I barely have anything to gain, so what do I have to hide? I want my following to be included with everything I do, because a lot of this stuff matters to me, otherwise I wouldn't feature it on my channels. I do it because I want to do it, not because I have to do it. And that's why I always want people's inclusion for what I do in the directions I seek, what games I play, what games I want to compete on. Because the only people that know me better than me is my following, because you guys know and love and trust me enough to bring me into your homes every week or every day, whatever it is on your schedules, to see whatever it is that I am doing. And for that, I'm thankful. All I ask for in return is to just give me input here and there in earnest about what you would like or what you seek on the channel sometimes. If you want to see a change of pace or a change of direction, or even something new, permanently or temporary. Let me know how you're feeling, so I know how you're feeling. Communication, you know? I'm gonna run a 3-minute ad real quick. I'll have my DMs and everything open, and then we get the 2-hour marker, I'm gonna go ahead and make my decision. And just think on everything it is that I've talked about so far. So, going forward here. Alright, Dragon Ball FighterZ is not going to be the main viewing point of interest for Iacon Battle Circuit anymore. PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5's general division with the rollback thing has compromised my event irreversibly to where it doesn't salvage the event, it only just systemically destroys the event from the inside out from this point forward. At the same time, while I would prefer cutting off Dragon Ball entirely, that's the main thing that brought Iacon to the dance of modern day. And the main thing that the branch is built up off of, aside from Injustice and console Guilty Gear. Mortal Kombat is eliminated entirely until the video game is complete. Injustice stays a tertiary revisiting point for the pillar and for the main points of Iacon as an exhibition only at this time, which leaves Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, and Melty Blood. Eunice, I still need to finish the trial runs for the events before I can ever thinking about wanting it to be a mainstay for Iacon Battle Circuit, because it's too early in Uni's lifespan for my events before I can actually trust in it. Because I made that same choice in trying to have Blaze Blue be the main thing once upon a time, and then Church fucked that up because she wants to cater to both PC and console. Tried doing that with Melty Blood, and then Eunice fucked that up. I want to try seeing if I can get Eunice on the map more for PlayStation, since people only want to play that shit on PC. And I'm trying to get the PlayStation port to have something. And now I have to contest her ass again, because for someone that wants to do PC for everything, suddenly this one you feel like I want to go back to PlayStation because PC is oversaturated. No shit, Sherlock. The way you praise PC, that's why I thought you were one of them, which is why I wanted to just take full command of the fucking PlayStation lane like I was supposed to do. Or if you want to share it, I can share it. So between the disappointment of Blaze Blue and then the untimely shafting of Melty Blood, because Melty Blood, honestly, I wanted that to be a main game after Dragon Ball, and then now I kind of can't get the games as consistently as I would like because Eunice. And in my opinion, Unis sucks dog shit. Game is so fucking boring to play. It's so beautiful to watch, but it's so boring. Like, I literally try and get on that game for 30 minutes and I just fall asleep. It's so lackluster with the storytelling. I just can't get into it. Like, if people that have already been playing that game, because I know it's a legacy-based anime game, and I know it has people that are already enthralled and intrigued with playing the game, and that's fine. Uni has been around long enough to have a legacy like that. I just respectfully cannot be a part of it. I can't deny, though, that for the 2 Iacons I posted so far for it, it has done very good in the viewership, the involvement, and the consistency and communications on all cylinders in order to make this shit get fired up. The presentation, it does good on the combo system, legacy-based video game like I said, and rollback. That's the main thing that was holding back every Unis game in the book up to this point was no rollback, and this one literally took the same template from all of them combined, and then plus rollback. So it makes sense that this Uni game is probably the standard Unis game for the generation. When I get to 4 Iacons for Under Night, then I will decide whether or not it's worth the gamble to have it be one of the pillars of Iacon.